Nobody else has the video on.
What about Mercedes? It's a 7-seater.
All right. So welcome everyone. We are officially live on YouTube via our website and of course YouTube Live. Here with the cast of the dark comedy Buried, and we also have our program director Britt here joining us. So just to give us a quick introduction, and we're just going to jump right into the film and just get right into the discussion post the film. So once again, good evening everyone. Welcome to our very first indie virtual. Welcome everyone. We are officially live. And of course, sorry, I just heard a feedback. I don't know where that came from, but I'm just going to keep on rolling. So welcome everyone to our very first indie virtual film festival. My name is Malachi Robinson, director of Creative Suitland. And on behalf of the team at Creative Suitland, Britt's joining us here. We are excited to kick off our monthly film screening series featuring local filmmakers, actors, producers, everything pertaining to film. So our goal is to push the conversation and inspire more filmmakers to create within the DMV area. So just moving right along. So it's a pleasure to be joined by the cast and the crew of the dark comedy short film Buried, directed by local filmmaker Blake Bynum. So we're just going to go ahead and get started with the film, and immediately follow the film, we'll have our program director Britt introduce the cast and the crew, and lead a live Q&A session. So feel free to get the questions ready in the YouTube chat box if you're not familiar how to get there. So just go right to our website, follow the link into the YouTube, and just type away in the question box if you have any questions as we move right along. So just going to ask everyone to turn your cameras off one more time, and then we'll switch to the film. We'll come on right back, and then we'll start the conversation. All right.
I was on some other shit, now I'm back to this. I had my humble pie, now it's time to take a shit. She wants something, only if you insist. Only because I'm lonely and only because I ain't shit. Of course she say she won't, then go on with the list. I want to slit my wrist, I'm horny as a bitch. Her brother and her sister
Hey, relax. Take your time with this. Wait, what is that?
What are you talking about? It's a tree. It's what you told me to get.
Orange tree, damn it. I was supposed to have an orange tree. That's what I specifically said. God damn it.
So what do you want to do? Are we supposed to stop everything? Look, I couldn't find any orange trees.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm flexible. You're completely ruined. No more surprises, though.
Yeah.
And what is that you were listening to? Turn that shit off.
Turn that shit off. No, man, I'm the one driving. Should we listen to what I like?
You hear those birds chirping? Trees quaking in the wind?
Yeah.
It's all surreal.
I've watched the Blair Witch Project enough times as a kid to build up a natural fear of forests at night.
Yeah, there ain't nothing to worry about out here. Witch is the least of your problems. Besides, it's your time to go. It's your time to go, right?
Hold on. Don't tell me that you actually believe all life is energy and karma bullshit.
Nah, I subscribe to my own philosophy. See, life is just one dark joke. Everything comes around in some ironic fashion. Oh, this old buddy of mine tells a story of this lady in Massachusetts whose fat husband lives a life of poor eating habits and dies while eating pudding, right?
Right.
The police arrive and she screams, "The proof is in the pudding!" She's the only witness, so she's briefly arrested. She tells the judge, the proof is in the pudding. She's freed and she tells her lawyers,
The proof is in the pudding.
yeah. Turns out years later on the deathbed, she admits to killing her cheating husband by slipping rat poison into his pudding.
Yeah. Anyway. So, what happened to the last guy who worked here?
Oh, Miguel?
Yeah.
He didn't make it. And to be frank, he wasn't a good guy. You need organization, good moral compass, and integrity to do this.
So, we're good people?
I don't know about you, but I'm a good guy. Just get a little greedy now and then. You clocked him with something heavy. You want to take a look?
Nope. I'm good.
Good. Never ask questions about the body. We only provide the service of disposing problems. You never ask who they are or where they come from. You clear?
Yeah, got it.
Good. Let's get to work. Yeah, I know it's your first time, but You get better the more you do this.
Yo, do you actually enjoy this job?
Say what?
Like, burying bodies and shit. You actually enjoy this?
I told you life was a dark joke, right? Well, consider me the punchline.
Right.
Got any plans yet for this extra cash?
What was that?
Death spasm.
Yeah, anyway, I got plans. Probably go back to school, try to find a way to make some legit cash.
How noble of you.
What about yourself?
Me? I'm gonna treat myself and throw a little party. I've already got 2 kilos waiting at home with 2 of the finest double D blondes this city has to offer. Ready to do whatever. Thinking about calling a 3rd.
Yo, you kidding, right?
What part of that made you think I was kidding? It's my money. Do what I want. Let's hurry this up. Don't have any time for fear or any of that self-righteous shit.
Crazy. The hell? What is it?
What is the worst thing to happen when you're burying a body? Finding another body. You're no fun. Oh. It's Miguel.
Wait, Miguel? Like Miguel?
Yeah, I'm sure he had a last name, but yeah, that's him. And only 2 feet deep with no tree? Unorganized bastards.
Yo, who did it?
Some idiots. Now, we're behind schedule. We have to dig them out.
Oh, but why would we have to dig them out? Why can't we just bury them on top of each other?
That's rude.
Rude? And burying bodies, is it?
We have rules we abide by here. What kind of operation do you think we're running here?
God, that smells.
Yeah, he definitely avoided his bowels. Try not to, breathe.
Yeah, I got it.
We gotta get him out. We don't have all night.
Oh, wait. Why are we digging him out?
I'm gone for 1 fucking day. 1 fucking day. See, this is why they need me.
Can't we just switch spots?
I'm irreplaceable. They must not know about me. They must not know about me.
Yo, did you just quote Beyonce?
Who's that?
You know what? Fuck it. Yo, why I gotta get the ass, man?
Shut up and lift, college boy. 1, 2, 3. Good job.
Yo, how the hell did he get out?
Get up. Get up. I said move.
Yo, Tim, I think he's
You
dead.
hear
I
me?
think he's dead. He's dead, man.
Fuck it.
What are you doing? What are you doing, Tim? Listen,
He's alive.
Listen, he's
I
dead,
saw
man.
it.
Listen, I'm not doing anything else but burying bodies, man. Yo, move, man. You happy? He's dead. And he just voided his bowels.
Yeah, he avoided his bowels, all right. Come on, get his legs and we'll...
Oh, shit.
After him, dumbass!
Wait. Yo, stop.
Stop. This is happening. We have to do this.
No, we don't have to do shit. All right? I'm not here to kill anybody. I'm here to bury bodies. That's it. Just let them go.
We have
all
a job to do, you know. And quite frankly, I enjoy my job. Burying bodies relaxes me, makes me appreciate my time on this earth. And sometimes this job calls for little extra. And when that happens, guess what? Our pockets get fatter. So I really don't want to see you going back to school ass out here.
That's all you about, huh? That's all you about?
Yeah.
You want to kill people just so you can go snort blow with hookers and pretend like you got the fucking moral compass?
I do what I want. College boy, so fucking sanctified. You think you're better than me, huh? You think I'm the bad guy and you're not, right?
No, because I'm here because I have to be. Huh? You're here because you're fucking crazy. You're rambling about pudding and moral compasses. Like, what the fuck did that story even mean?
Doesn't matter why you're here. All that matters is that you chose this. Same as me. What's it gonna take for you to realize we're on the same level now?
Give me that tree.
Yo, so what do you think happened to the two bitches in the blow?
You think you clever, huh? You looking at me so passionate, let me know that the nigga that you been tapping is actually unimpressive, huh? Oh well, I see what I can do about you, see what I can do about you. You think you clever, huh? You looking at me so passionate, let me know that the nigga that you been tapping is actually unimpressive, huh? Oh well, I see what I can do about you, see what I can do about you.
Baby, you interesting, and I'm interesting after having long sex. 8 sets of 10, that's a long set. Bend that ass over like a long snap. She ain't say nothing, just supply me with the bone rip. Tell me it's a full ass moon, that shit glowing. Little nigga, put your coat on, your Scorpio showing. I never told her my birthday, it's not even the first date. And then I made it work.
All right, we can come on back in. All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm just going to hand it over to Britt to get started with our Q&A. So we'll start with introductions of the crew, the cast and the crew, and then we can get started with the conversation.
Cool. So I guess I'll start and say my name, and then we'll go around the room.
Virtual room.
Yeah, basically. My name is Britt. I am the program director at Creative Suitland. I'm also a filmmaker, and I have a lot of questions about what I just saw. I guess next.
My name's Leon, screenwriter. Glad to be here. Really excited to share the film and answer as many questions as possible.
Hi, my name is Robert. I kind of starred in the film along with these lovely people. Yeah, ready to get started. Let's go.
What's up, everybody? My name is Darren Joseph. Answer any questions y'all got.
Hey, everybody. I'm Josh Vincent, producer of the film. And please ask any questions and hope you guys enjoyed.
What's up, everybody? I'm Blake Bonham, the director of the film. And like everybody else, I'm here to answer questions and see what you guys thought of what we put together.
Beautiful, beautiful. So I guess I'll start with Blake, the director. Yeah, I just want to know, what was your start in filmmaking? How long have you been in this game, and what encouraged you to get into this form of art?
Sure. I would say officially, quote unquote, 2014, when I started filmmaking. I started shooting music videos, writing treatments, and that was kind of my first medium to get into this filmmaking space. And then from there, I shot my first short film in 2016, MLK weekend. It was a really fun experience, and I knew that that was something that I definitely wanted to do again. Wasn't sure if I wanted to make it to a career yet, or if it was something that I saw myself really doing this, as I got older, but it was something that I was interested in doing again. So with that, I got the itch to do another film when I collaborated with my friend Brandon, who's actually out in LA now, but he was kind of the same hunger as I had for creating short film content, kind of with a limited budget and using the resources which we had. So then propelled it all the way to current day, 2020, we're still doing it, still making films, locally and for our audience. So all that, through 2014. And I guess the reason why I chose, or what brings me to this visual arts medium is I've always been a storyteller, but I was always in plays growing up. So I think with not wanting to be in front of the camera so much, being behind the camera and kind of having creative control over a project, show how collaborative things are is really cool to me. Seeing how things really come together. So it's something that I really use friends like Leon, who our mothers were great friends, and in the church, and then we kind of their sons having similar interests, to kind of having relationships like that form, to meeting people like Josh, who I went to college with, who if I told him that we were going to make films together in our late 20s, he probably would say, stop drinking whatever you're drinking. So and then it led me to guys like Rob and Darren, just having the the confidence in just those around me, as well as myself, to really put this thing, take it seriously, because as a competitive person I really want to put out the best product possible.
Wow. Yeah, you answered 3 of my next questions, so that's great. Beautiful that you was kind of surrounded by everybody that you needed to take your practice further. And so you said you and Leon met in church, or your moms are good friends? Okay.
Yeah, I have Leon go and look give his version of it, but Leon actually came to my high school graduation party at my house, my parents' house, and our mother's Mrs. Robbins, I call her, and my mother were great friends. I think they met in church and maybe at work as well. I'm not. Mom was very big socialite, so I'm not sure quite exactly, but it was somewhere in that time. And then college, we stayed in contact, and then just over the years, mother stayed in contact, and our relationship grew.
Yeah, it's the whole 6 degrees of separation. You never know who knows someone who knows somebody who is interested in film, and it was one of those things where I guess both our mothers just sort of realized that we both liked film and wanted to get into it, even from a young age. And so as much as they stayed in contact, we stayed in contact. And so I grew up in Virginia, then eventually I moved out here to LA, and I went to Chapman University, where I was studying screenwriting, and they had us doing a number of short scripts and just producing those as much as possible. And then eventually Blake and I got to talking again, and I mentioned I had a few scripts he might be interested in that are one location, low budget, easy to shoot, great for first-time filmmakers that are looking to expand their reel. And so I sent him Buried, and then we just sort of clicked over that, and then we just started building the script up from there.
Yeah, this is labeled, when I think one of the social media posts is labeled as a dark comedy, which I think is accurate. And dark comedy, that's really hard to convey, because you really are having to find the humor and like the macabre, right? So what are some of your inspirations? Is this kind of a common theme in your writing, or was this inspired by something in particular?
This one was a little bit different. It actually started out as a, I just like one of the jokes in there was, what's the worst thing to happen when you're burying a body, and that's finding another body. And I just, in my, I guess, dark sense of humor, I was like, oh, that's sort of funny. Like, what would a movie even look like just surrounded around that concept? And then so I started bringing it up in class, and then eventually it turned from more of a story about that one joke being the center of it into a story about redemption, basically, where the main character sort of realizes that he doesn't want to be this guy. He doesn't want to grow up to still be burying bodies and then burying his own conscience or his own morality just to get hookers and blow. He wants to do something good with his life. So I guess the meaning behind all that is more along the lines of finding out who you are. I think that's sort of the thread through a lot of my work, is sort of the characters are always placed inside one central obstacle where it's going to define the rest of their lives. And if they don't make that choice now, then they'll probably end up like the villain or like their foil throughout the film. So beneath the dark comedy genre, I think for me, that's what the through line was.
Cool. Yeah, the main character. I mean, that's just like that. I've seen that trope before. You know, like this really crazy, but also like he's kind of likable because he's a little bit funny. I want to talk about the casting process. I think it was definitely well casted. What was that process like? How did you guys come about?
Yeah, I love to cast, and I think it's a really, sometimes a underrated part in filmmaking. And so I started off going to Howard University to the theater program, and I saw this one play, and I wanted to try to find students from there, and I formed a relationship with their student, with their theater teacher, Mr. Eric Ruffin, and he told me about alumni he had, as well as current students who had opportunities, New York or LA or Atlanta or still looking. So I'm like, being in a rich city like DC, being next to Howard University, and I want to have some pretty skilled actors. I'm in the right city to find those people who are up and up. So I went to Howard University a few times to find some people. Then I also went to the Anacostia, I went to the Playhouse Theater in Anacostia, where I found Robert. It was kind of funny. I was going to, this may sound bad, but I was going to cast a black guy in an all black play, and I came out with a white guy, and in the lead. So it was just like ironic how that worked. But I thought Robert was, I think by his energy and his look, he gave me a lot of diversity. And I feel like being, I think at the time he was 24 or maybe 23. And so I knew how those years were. I mean, I was 27, but I just knew how hungry I was at those years. And I knew wanting a chance was definitely, matching that hunger to what we had for the character was perfect. But yeah, we just went to a friend's house, and we had auditions. So it was the first time doing big auditions like that. And then Darren came through our casting call as well, through on Backstage. I actually found him via profile. I liked one of his projects he did. I'm not sure what year it was, but it was probably 5 or 6 years old. So I liked his whole reel. I reached out to him via Twitter and asked him if he would consider, auditioning for this role. And they both came in, they both killed it. So they made the part easy.
Nice. Robert, I actually have seen Robert at Spit That, the open mic that's on college, on Howard's campus. Can you talk about your background in acting and performing? And I've seen the crooning. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, no problem. Well, it actually goes all the way back to when I was 12 years old in a community production of the best Christmas pageant ever. And then grades weren't checking out, so I went into football and didn't really have a future past high school football. How you get to that point of like doing something for a certain amount of time, you're like, all right, I'm going to do this, and then you're like, well, not really anymore. And then theater just kind of drugged me in without a better term, I would say, and just kind of enveloped me. There you go. And it never let go. You get bit by that artistic bug, and you just get hungrier and hungrier.
Awesome. What about you, Darren? Can you talk about your acting background?
For me, I guess you could say being in the entertainment industry goes back to like 3rd grade. That's when I first did a school. I sang, and ever since then, any chance I got to perform, whether it was dancing, singing, acting, I did it, right? Acting really didn't come until I got into high school. And I went for my first school musical and ended up getting the 2nd lead role. And I was like, oh, this is dope. And from then, I was actually going to go to school for computer science, but I ended up going to Howard. Eric Ruffin's one of my guys too, man. Ended up going to Howard and majoring in musical theater. And from there, everything has just been snowballing into you know, all realms of entertainment. So
very cool. Yeah, I mean, you guys have a really solid cast, a really solid crew. I want to talk to the producer. What was it like? So if you guys shot this in Virginia, can you talk about how it was shooting this project?
Oh yes, we shot it in Maryland.
Okay.
It was St. Patty's Day weekend, I think, and it was cold.
So cold.
Very, very, very cold.
My phone froze.
I mean, it was freezing. So we shooting here, it was tough because of the locations. We had to, like, you know, find the best parking, haul all the gear to where it's supposed to be, set up heat lamps, hand warmers. I mean, it was a real test about shooting where there's nothing set up. There was no structure, there was no building, there was no, we had to find the generator, figure out what it was. So, like, shooting here was tough, but it gave us a lot of information about, okay, you know, what do you need to have a good set? What do you need to make sure that everybody that's on the set is taken care of, make sure guys are warm, they got snacks. So it was a lot of logistics, but it was a great location. We were kind of tucked away in a park that was like kind of set behind the neighborhood, just outside of Branch Ave Metro. So like it wasn't too far from there. There's like a complex there. We kind of, a few weeks before, we went door to door to kind of put like, hey, we'll be outside with lights, with this. We got the permission of the neighborhood. So we let them know time. We gave them a point of contact. We gave them a number, and then we just kind of went out there and shot. So once we had the location set up and we had like what we thought we would need, it was a smooth shoot. Luckily, we had another person that was on the team that had a house that wasn't too far away, so we had a bathroom. So as far as like this being an indie shoot and having everything that you need, we had everything we needed. We didn't break the bank getting everything we needed. So it was a good shoot. Came out pretty good.
Yeah. What was your most memorable moment shooting? I guess that's the question for everybody. If everybody wants to chime in, or maybe not everybody wants to chime in. Maybe you all agree on one moment, but I'll just talk.
If someone has one, please join in. I mean, leave it up to me.
It doesn't have to be bad. It's memorable.
There was one thing about this shoot. I don't know if it was a storm or if it was a tree fell. So like there was this path that we had to like,
I remember
get you to get down to the shoot, and there was this like, huge tree, and it felt like right in the path that we had. So we had to like literally like kind of cut into the woods, create our own path. It just added so much of a headache. I know there's not like the most, but I remember that tree, and I remember having to deal with that every day we were down there. And I remember like, man, just that being our luck. That was one thing, but there's tons of memorable moments. Wheelbarrow, everything. I'll let somebody else.
I mean, I think the biggest thing for me was how cold it was, and like everybody, we were all there and just in the zone. In spite of the cold, in spite of any circumstance, we were all just committed. You know what I mean? But it was cold as I don't know what, but it was fun.
Yeah.
I was not there on set, but I will say to writers out there, be considerate of your production. Having to hear people that had to film something in the woods at night in the cold, and you just feel bad. And so just be considerate when you're putting a story together. Really happy.
But you know what?
Mm-hmm.
But you know what though? If it wasn't that, I think that's an element that added to the story.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
So although it's as actors, we sometimes have to be in circumstances that aren't the greatest, right?
Yeah.
But when you think of what it does for the story, for your story, and how much it actually adds, man. I think it was perfect.
Yeah,
I think that's an underrated aspect of acting, because of course the job is to get the emotions down and the intent behind the words and the objectives and the beats and the yada yada yada. But also, like, once you get on set in an external film shoot, you have to ask yourself, how would this character react in the cold? How would this character react in the extreme heat? How would he be in these circumstances? And I think that's one of the most underrated aspects of acting that we just also can't ignore.
I would say one of the most memorable things on set, so tough. I would have to say when we thought it was going to rain that weekend.
Oh yeah.
We made enough to shoot. We know how to be outside. Like, we went through all the stuff to find this one location, and to finally have the confidence to shoot here, from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. And for 3 days in a row. And I think it was max at 31 degrees. It was freezing. And I don't like animals at all. So being outside, it already but I think also when we shot on Friday, it sprinkled a little bit, and we said, well, if it rains on Friday, we have to just go with it. With a cover equipment, and it's one of those things in filmmaking that just always things that you don't take account for, or things go as planned. There's always something in the way to stop you from trying to be great. There's always some element you really can't control. So with the rain happening, once we just kind of accepted that, hey, rain may come, we didn't think about it until Sunday evening when we were like, hey, was it supposed to rain this weekend? And it just didn't. So that was a really good memory as we, fought through this movie based on the climate.
Yeah, cold rain is the worst. Sometimes like a summer rain, you're like, okay, I can work with this, but raining and cold is awful conditions. I wanted to weigh in on, before we started this live stream, we were having like a little bit of chit chat, banter, and we talked about LA and the movie industry. And I kind of want you all to weigh in on, what are the pros and cons of working locally versus working in an industry like Los Angeles or even New York?
I would say relationships. I'm from this area. I feel like, having the confidence to go to these small businesses or locations that may be deemed untouchable if you weren't from here, but just being like, I can speak to some of the landmarks in this area and speak the native lingo. They have more confidence, or more have a tight-knit relationship where I can go up to a small business and say, hey, I'm looking to shoot at this coffee shop. They'll probably be more inclined to let me do it without permits than going through a big production where I have to get things signed off and get a lot of clearances through different organizations that could halt us from shooting where we want to shoot. So I think that helps for like location scouting, as well as casting as well. You can just build these relationships organically because you're from the area.
How about Darren?
I would say, to, I guess, piggyback on that, or kind of give it, I think it has its pros and cons, right? Like, you go to LA, it's known for being a film place. There's tons of people there. There's tons of people there that are doing the same thing. So there's pros there. But I can say another pro to doing it here, or to doing it somewhere that's not known for that, it's kind of like the big fish, small pond. It's like, if you can really get support of your local creatives, if you can really get the word and the buzz out there of what you're doing, I think that's only going to help you if you do decide to do this type of work somewhere else. Like Blake has mentioned, we've worked with people who have been here, who've made that transition to LA or to Atlanta to do more work. So I think really it comes down to, and I've talked about filmmakers like, man, if you really want to do this, just do it. Make this plan A, keep doing it, keep trying. You can do it here, you can do it there. There's pros and cons to both. I think what we've been able to do here is create an organic network, really be able to work with people and kind of like drive our own narrative. But there's benefits to doing it in either place.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
You can go.
I mean, I've worked in New York and here, and LA was actually next on my list. And the thing that I've seen is that while you know, obviously there are opportunities in you know, other places that are, I guess you could say, more of the industry, larger projects, right? However, this industry is very small, right? Even though there's a lot of people, I know a lot of people that are everywhere. So you run into people all the time, and being here locally, I've met those people, most of them, a lot of them from here, right? From either going to school or different working in theaters out here or whatever it is. So just because opportunities are to become a star, because I feel like a lot of people really want to become a star instead of looking at it from an aspect of how do I build a career, right? And you can build a career right where you are. You don't have to move. You can, but when you do that, yeah, people have to understand that you know, sometimes it's better to be a big fish in a little pond than try to be a small fish in a big pond. You know, you get more work, you build up your resume, have more relationships. So there's a lot of, like I said, like Josh was saying, there's a lot of pros and cons too. You work with what you got.
Yeah, I totally agree with what everyone just said. I think when it comes to LA, there's so many people here that are doing the same thing. You can always find actors, you can always find writers, you can always find editors, directors. Everyone is in a coffee shop working on a screenplay. It's the stereotype you guys all imagine it is. And the thing is, it's also because there are so many people doing the same thing, it's hard to find that one group, to find your favorite director that you like working with, to find your favorite editor, because there's so many options per se. But once you find that click, and once you find those people and you go through the needle in the haystack and you're able to make connections and films with them, then you hold on to that. You found something special in that regard. And I think when it comes to being outside of LA, I think Darren had a great point of being, you're a big fish in a pond per se. You're all together trying to do the same thing. And it sort of forces you to be great at your craft, to be good at it and push beyond it, because you aren't one of many, you're one of few. And so your name's going to travel farther. Your work is going to travel farther. It's going to mean more when you get a script done and get a film produced, or you get a credit on IMDb in Virginia or Maryland or DC than in LA. I can go out to my mailbox and somehow get a credit on IMDb out here. So I think there's tons of different opportunities in both areas, but I think you can make the most of those opportunities outside of the bubble.
Very cool. That's it. All right, I'm gonna open up some of the questions that we got on YouTube. We had two questions that were kind of similar about influences and inspirations. I want each of you to, in your respective fields, writer, director, producer, actor, what were some of your biggest inspirations? I guess we'll start with Blake.
Inspirations, I would say.
Influences.
Influences. In regards to filmmaking, or in regards to just?
Well, filmmaking, but you know, feel free to chime in. 1 second.
Okay.
You can continue. I'm just gonna close my window.
Okay. Influences. I would say I'm a big sports guy, and I'm just really big into sports. You know, like, I mean, growing up as a Redskins fan, I mean, we didn't win a lot. A lot of my favorite players, you know, just, you know, like their persona stuck with me, or their drive and competitive stuff stuck with me. So I think also, like, one of my favorite players, Sean Taylor, he's always somebody who was different. He played the game kind of at his own, to his own rules, and people kind of, you know, latched on to his style of play, and still respect him now, you know, 13 years past his death. So I would say, you know, that kind of relates to film, how, like, you know, there's some filmmakers like Alexander Inarritu, or, you know, Barry Jenkins, or Yorgos Lanthimos, who kind of just do things differently, and they don't try to stay in the box. They kind of bring you to their own world, and their own world is like, you know, you can like it or you cannot, but at least, you know, you can see where I'm coming from, and see whether this film was 2 hours long, or, you know, 20 minutes long. You know, I put you in this world to kind of tell you my perspective on things and kind of how I feel like things should be played out. Things like that. So I would say that would be one of my biggest influences.
Interesting. How about Leon for writing?
Yeah, for me, one of my biggest influences is Joss Whedon. Like he did Buffy, he did Avengers, he did Serenity, and he does a good job of mixing genres. Like, so it's either a horror, but it's also a young adult thing with like Buffy, or it's Serenity, where it's a Western, but it's in space, where he's taking different genres that shouldn't usually go together, but he somehow makes them work. So with this one, it's a dark comedy, and those are always, like we talked about earlier, difficult to write. But another thing Josh does is he's able to sort of max that with comedy. And I think looking for just those little instances where you can make a joke to just take the audience on a little bit of a ride. So they're not constantly thinking like, oh, wow, this is really dark, this is really depressing, but finding ways to surprise the audience and to make them laugh. And I think if you can take the audience on any type of journey where they go from highs to lows, then that's always my goal. And especially when I've just looked at his work and studied it for so long, hopefully it shows in my work sometimes. I'm gonna actually move real quick, so I'm gonna stop my video, but I'll be back in a second.
Move. Anyone else catch that?
Yeah.
That's ironic. That's a bit of irony. How about Darren weighs in next on inspiration?
Inspiration. Wow, that's a big question. Influence. There's a lot. There's a lot for me. Three. Let's see. I would have to say my family. You know, just everybody has always really supported me in my vision, my goal, and my dreams. And the one thing that I want to do that I'm doing is pushing beyond my own boundaries, not just for myself, but for them. Let's see, two, I don't know, I just love to be, I guess it's kind of the same thing, to be limitless and just to do the things that others are afraid to do, you know, and that's right. I guess that's what it is. For me, it's all about going beyond the boundaries, you know, not being held in a box. You know, it's like, I couldn't just be, you know, and I couldn't just sing or I couldn't just act. I had to do musical theater because I had to do them both at the same time. So I didn't want to be in a box, you know? Man, that's a tough question for me. I guess then it's the matter of having fun. Just fun work.
Yeah. How about Rob, since we're on the topic of acting and performance? How about you, Rob?
Okay, so I got a little template so I could work with three because my answer was going to be like Darren's. I've got a lot of them. You know, I feel like one of the aspects of living at this time in history is just the amount of history we have to draw from in regard to inspiration and influences. And, you know, there's a lot of good from that to be taken into account, particularly in the entertainment industry. But if I'd have to narrow it down to three, I'd have to say Keanu Reeves certainly is a model for me in how he just takes every single role from such a professional example and a humble example. He's definitely one of the most humble people I've ever heard of. My family would have to be another one, simply because, you know, there's that intrinsic drive that we have in those of us who have, you know, hopefully good relationships with our family in some aspect to, you know, just be better, not only for yourselves, but for them. And finally, Frank Sinatra. I mean, anybody who knows me knows that that's a huge influence for me as well. Not only because of who he, who the world knows him to be, but also who he wasn't afraid to be on stage and off stage. He was very true to himself in every aspect of whatever life threw at him. Now, obviously, some of the stuff that he did wouldn't necessarily fly today, but that doesn't take away. I don't think that takes away from the man that he was. Yeah.
Yeah, a great actor and great musician. How about we close out with Josh?
Yeah, so I guess people kind of gave different answers there. So I'm gonna try to give three things that inspire me. Maybe not necessarily three people or three, but just three things I think kind of got me into this work. I would say one is like just a good story. I think for me, like really good films or really good story, they really resonate with me. And I watched them and watched them and watched them and watched them over and over and over again. So I think, and even outside of that, like the stories that my family share with me. So I feel like a good story from the films that I've seen and love, then just like, the family support in loving something like that, I think is another inspiration for me. And I think another thing I would say last is inspiration for me is if I had to say, I guess someone, or I'm gonna go with, I'm gonna say, I think family is a good one. I think of those two are like the real inspiration of what I have, because it's hard for me to pick certain people because I feel like the things I like are just so broad, right? Like I love a lot of, movies by Adam Sandler. Like, get me wrong, get me right, but I feel like he has something that's about his realism and things you can relate with. But that's not the only person I really like. I really like a lot of drug movies. I feel like, so as far as like for movies and film, I think it's not necessarily the person, but it's the story. And I think for me also, it's like the family support that I've been blessed to get is also really inspirational to keep doing something that's non-traditional.
Cool. We have one more question from YouTube. It says, what stands out to you all making this film and or project compared to others you've worked on? Anybody can weigh in.
I'd have to say the focus with which we came in and allowed each other. Because, obviously the cold has been one of the most talked about points in regard to the actual shoot today. And because it was a huge factor, but that didn't stop anyone from coming in, doing the job, and doing it well.
I'm actually going to say, I want to give some acknowledgments real quick, because Leon, we haven't had a chance to meet you before.
I know.
So I want to say, thank you for your creative genius. Thank you for allowing, your work to be put out there. And as a creative person, I get it. Like it's trust. It's hard to let go of your babies and to trust other people to make it come to life in a way that represents you and what you set out to create. So thank you for opening yourself up for us.
Thank you guys. You guys did well, did perfect. Just it's so weird when you have the visual in your mind and you see it come to life, and you guys knocked it out the park. I'm so grateful for it and incredibly thankful.
So I got to acknowledge these guys because Blake, man, it was funny because when you hit me up on Twitter, I didn't see it originally. I don't even know when I got back to you, but to be contacted and to be given the opportunity and to witness your genius as a director, as someone who you put and Josh, I'm gonna lump you into this as well because you two guys made this happen, right? So the two of you and how you all work together, the friendship and business and friendship can be challenging, right? So the fact that you guys were able to work together and still maintain the friendship, still bring that energy, that lightness, that fun, you know, all of that into what we were able to create, that was amazing. So thank you both for the opportunity. And Robert, man, you know, working with you was fun. You are a versatile powerhouse of an actor, man, you know, and it really was a pleasure to work with you and to just feed off of your energy. And, you know, like, dude, I just see so many things coming for you, man. I'm excited. I'm excited for all of you guys to see what comes down the lane. I forgot what the actual question was because I just wanted to acknowledge everybody real quick.
How did it stand out from other projects you may have worked on in the past?
And then I'm gonna have to go with the people. You know, one for me, it was the first time that I'd ever done a 2-person lead role. Right. So that was new for me, where it was just, you know, mainly he and I, you know, and that was dope because it was like we were just able to work off of each other and bring the best out of each other. So
yeah, it was I like to liken that experience that I had with you, Darren, as you know, just working that shit out in the gym. You know, you're in a boxing ring and you're just like feeding off of each other's power and you're going off of each other's pace. And, you know, it was certainly a pleasure to work with you and, of course, everyone else as well. Because, you know, like I said, we just all came in with this energy. We were like, fuck this cold, you know, we're gonna do it. And we did.
Yeah, that's the best feeling when everyone on your team is just as passionate. It kind of helps everybody just stay in. And I definitely feel that with this cast and this crew. Did anyone else want to weigh in? I'm gonna ask one final question if anyone wants to add to.
For me, this was the first film that I was not there for. Since I'm on the West Coast, this is my first time I had a film done on, you know, my home coast, down the Maryland, DC, Virginia area. And so to not be there for casting, to not be there for location scouting, it was just a lot of trust I had to put in Blake and the actors and the producer, and just trust that they knew what they were doing and taking this complicated shoot that was done outside in the dark, in the cold, that they were going to get it done. And the results were exactly what I had in my head. So for me, like, I guess going back to what Darren said earlier, being able to let go of your children and just letting the script go and seeing where people can take it. And to me, that's not only a sign of a good script, but the sign of a good team is that they're able to take it and run with it.
Yeah, and I would say off that too, man. You know, trust. You know, like I said, I started doing films in 2014, but this film was shot in 2018. So there was a lot of trial and error in those 4 years, trying to, you know, build relationships, know where you're doing, like, educate yourself, as well as, you know, having somebody trust you. You know, like, I have a day job. Josh as well. I'm pretty sure everyone else is called, you know, may have a day job. You know, this is what Leon does. And for Leon to trust me sitting this 2,000 miles across the coast, says, yeah, take it. You know, like, Leon gets paid for this, you know what I mean? And he didn't charge me yet. No, it was, you know, something that, you know, I knew that if this is somebody else's work and this is something that they put their work, their you know, their heart into, I need to be the representation of that. And it was memorable because, you know, there were all the tumultuous weather we had and, you know, other hiccups. We, you know, made it to a few festivals, you know, more than we've ever had before. Like, we flew across the country with this film, back to California, in Atlanta. You know, we showed it here in DC at the DC Black Film Festival. So it was rewarding for, you know, other people, you know, who weren't directly connected to us. We're like, you know, this is something that, you know, we would like to screen at our film festival. And it really propelled us to, you know, get that confidence going forward. So it's really, you know, kudos to all the actors and the producers, of course, who were involved, but Leon as well for, you know, doing 85% of the work. And we had to, you know, just bring it home.
I did 15%. You guys did the other 85. Oh, thank you guys. You guys did phenomenal.
Awesome. So I'm gonna ask one final question. It's a two-part question. And then we're actually going to do an encore presentation for those who may be tuned in late and want to see it again. So I guess my closing out, first I want to thank you all for being here. This was amazing.
One more question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I guess to address the elephant in the room in terms of why we're in this virtual space, just during these interesting times that we're living in, how is everyone still being able to be creative during this time? And if you have been creative, what have you been working on? What are you working on currently, or what have you been working on these past few months? If we can just go down the line before we wrap up and just let us know what you're working on. Promote yourself for the next few moments. Let us know.
Perfect.
So I think my top square is Blake. So you want to go first?
Sure, yeah. So during Corona, we've stayed creative. We actually shot a quarantine comedy. It's untitled right now, but we're working on that, trying to release that hopefully mid-August. We are finished up our film, The Zeke Sanders Story, which is a short comedy film. It's a 35-minute short that Sinatra wrote a filmmaker's play in DC. So it follows the mishap of a guy who's trying to become a filmmaker, but kind of taking 2 steps forward and 3 steps backward at all turns. So hopefully that will come out at the end of this year or in beginning of 2021. And yeah, it's been tough being in quarantine for so long, but living with a producer, he always keeps me busy. So working on new scripts, whether they're 5-minute commercial ideas or how we're going to attack things once they let us open up production again, to really doing our best way being possible to push our current film forward. So there's a lot of things that we're working on that hopefully can be seen in the next coming months that you all will enjoy.
All right, my next square is Darren. Want to go next?
Sure. So doing a couple things actually. Right now, I'm also a music producer, and just worked with an artist named Tai Zhu, who just released a single it's on all over Spotify. It's called Stars. So if you get a chance, it's Taizu, and the song is called Stars, produced by me. I also coach actors and people, and everybody in the entertainment industry. I'm a life coach, so that's what I do on a day-to-day basis. So because of my experience in the industry, I've seen the extreme highs. I've won an ASCAP Pop Award for producing a song. I've seen the extreme lows as well. And so I have a wide range of experience and insight, and I know what people go through. So that's what I do. I help people navigate in their life, just in this type of industry. When you choose to be in this realm, there are certain aspects of yourself that you have to learn to cope with and handle, because it's not for the faint of heart, and not everybody knows how to manage your own mind through it all. So between, my acting and coaching and music, that's what I do.
Thank you. Next we got Josh.
Right. So for me, what's going on right now? We like Blake mentioned, we during quarantine, we definitely shot a quarantine comedy, kind of skeleton crew, just trying to do something light, but to keep people busy and give folks an opportunity to kind of sharpen their skills and do something different. So we're working on that to come out, like you said, mid-August. We've got a very short kind of satirical comedy coming out. Still trying to figure out the works of that one. That's just kind of like, we've got a script, we got an idea. So hopefully maybe around August or September, we can see something for that. We just finished the Zeke Sanders Story. But COVID has unfortunately closed down a few of the venues that we plan on showing it. So hopefully stay tuned, but we plan on showing at the Kennedy Center, the Reach at the Kennedy Center, and also at Eaton Hotel, either late this year or early next year. Then I'm also producing it's a show, it's called Realish DMV, but obviously due to COVID, that's kind of been derailed, but hopefully I can get started with that again maybe early next year. So those are kind of the things that I've been working on. In the meantime, But I advise everyone do what you can to stay sane, and hopefully we can get through this soon.
Definitely will. Thank you. And Robert.
And to pick up on that, I know hopefully I'm preaching to the choir, but just wear a mask, y'all, and like be safe, please. Like, you know, all these projects delayed, I feel can really take a toll on the mind if one isn't prepared to maintain themselves as well. There you go. Hey.
Wear a mask, Robert. Wear a mask, Darren. Wear a mask.
I got a mask right here.
We have them all in reach. Our masks were all in arm's reach. That's
Gotta stay protected.
Right, you gotta stay protected. You don't know when a coughing Karen's gonna bust through your door. But no, like to also pick up on what Darren said, you know, just maintaining my mind has been the number one thing. Because you know, with ADHD, without stimulation of a passion, you kind of go into a rut and you kind of fall into whatever you may fall into, be that depression or anxiety or, you know, whatever. So lately I've been picking up screenwriting, actually. I got a couple of movie ideas in progress right now, and one for a TV show also. And, you know, signed up for a few master classes. And also I'm keeping busy helping out a Black business, Susu, that is happening over there in Baltimore to help, you know, use the Susu to buy blocks and restore the community by employing the community with trade education and all these things that happen when building a house and whatnot, so that they can not only live in the house afterwards, but have a job once they're in the house. And yeah, it's just a revolutionary thing. I'm really excited about it. So yeah, so despite all of this COVID stuff, I've fortunately been able to stay pretty busy. And like I said, ADHD just thrives on engagement. So yeah, I'm really blessed.
Rob, I might want to talk to you about that. What is it, Susu?
Yeah, Susu.
Because we have so my family has rental properties in Baltimore, so that's kind of what we do, and it's looking at ways to expand that. So let's chop it up about that.
Yeah, man, let's do it.
That's dope. And we got Leon.
Yeah, for me, like I'm a writer. I'm an introvert anyway, so I'm already used to just staying inside so long. So for me, not to say that nothing has changed and the world is still the same, but I've been trying just to dive as much as I can into my writing, and we're never going to have this opportunity to have this much free time again. And I know the world is crazy out there and it's scary, but if you're trying to self-quarantine and you have the ability to stay inside and to just work on something on your computer, then now is the time to do it. You have free time. A lot of people are working from home. A lot of people just have those extra few hours in the day just to get something done. So for me, I've just kept my head down, and I try not to stress that much, and turned off the news for a while, but I still follow it through Twitter. But for me, it's just keeping my head down and writing as much as possible, and just creating and networking, and trying to make sure that I'm staying busy. Because for me, one of the worst things that I feel could happen is I come out of quarantine and I've let that time go to waste. I haven't pushed myself in any direction. I've just sort of sat there and been static, and haven't moved or created anything. And I think if you're not creating, if you're not trying to push yourself in any shape or form, then you're not doing yourself any favors. So I've just been trying to stay as busy as possible, writing as much as possible. And I have a handful of projects that I have my fingers in right now that I'm trying to work on my own, that I'm writing with my writing partner, and a music video I'm working on. So just a few things that are keeping my mind and my computer and my quarantine time occupied.
Mind and computer. Cool.
Do you have a question, Britt?
No, actually, you asked my question. That was the question I was going to close with.
Oh, cool.
It all works out. I guess one thing I did want to ask, if you had any words of advice, because we do have some young viewers that we encourage to tune in. Our organization has a job training program for creatives that teaches them skills in theater arts and filmmaking and anything just performance and digital arts related. So if you have any advice to give, and then we can close out with our encore presentation.
I would say find ways to stay busy, especially to you young actors out there, because the artist paints in between pieces that they sell, the writer writes in between pieces that they sell, the dancer dances, the hip hop artist hits ciphers and is always writing in their little notebook, so the actor has to act, the actor has to read, we have to hone our craft so that when somebody casts you for a role, you're not scrambling trying to figure out how to tackle this role. You know how to tackle the role because you've been practicing. And to that, I would say, don't put a price on it either. Of course, there's a smart way to go about things financially in regard to investing in yourself via masterclasses and whatnot. But you can always be learning, and that is absolutely priceless, not only for your development as an artist, but for your development as a person.
So, obviously, there's a lot of things that we could all say, right? For me, the biggest lessons, I guess I could say that I've learned that have been things that have gotten in my way, and even just what we talked about earlier as far as teamwork. This is something that really it's taken me a long time to really understand, because I think a lot of times as creatives we sometimes become loners, right? And because we're so in our own zone and we have to create. And one of the biggest lessons that actually my lovely fiance, who is also right here, has taught me is the value of not doing it by yourself, right? Because when you, just like Leon, like if you never opened up and allowed others to come in and help create your vision, it wouldn't be what it is, So whether that's, and whatever that is, like building your team, I think we have to open ourselves up to allowing others to come in and do what they do to help us create our visions, but understanding that in helping us create our visions, we're also helping them create theirs, so it's a win-win situation. The other thing I would say is kind of also a shameful plug, get support because it's tough, whether it's you go to therapy, whether it's you get a coach, whether it's you have friends that whatever it looks like for you, just make sure that you have, and that really goes back to having a team. Make sure you have a solid team around you that's willing to hold you up when you feel like when you're about to fall down.
I would say off that too, build a team around you, which is very important, like Darren said, but then also believe in yourself. It shows through your work. If you don't believe in yourself, then it's really hard to convince other people to. And believe in the project, whether it's a song you're doing, whether it's a film you're doing, or anything, that you even asked to be a part of by one of your friends or your peers. Believe in the project and believe in yourself that you can do it, because if it doesn't challenge you a little bit, it's not worth it. It should scare you a little bit and challenge you a little bit to where you're a little bit uncomfortable doing it, but it only makes you better. And life, if you're the smartest person in your circle, you should think about getting in the circle.
For me, I always think back, my roommate got to meet Ryan Coogler one time, and he asked him the same question, like, what advice do you have? And Ryan just said, just make stuff. Just keep making stuff. It's because you learn from it. Every time you make a film, whether you're just making a film on your iPhone or just shooting something or shooting a monologue or, doing something with a team, you learn from it. And even if there are obstacles to it, if you're filming at night in a place where there's no electricity and it's 30 degrees, you learn from it. You have experience that you could bring to the table that you otherwise just wouldn't have if you just sat home and did nothing. So I think the best piece of advice to give to young filmmakers is, don't be afraid to just keep making stuff. I mean, if it's bad, no one's going to see it. Just keep it to yourself on your hard drive. If it's good, then show it to the world and let the world see it and accept it. And I think the reason we're all here is because we just made stuff. We put our minds out there, we put ourselves out there, and we got it done. And I think to that factor, it's also making sure it's complete. There's so many people that I meet in Hollywood that are like, yeah, I'm working on a script and they've been working on it for 5 years, or I'm working on a movie, but they filmed it 5 months ago and they're just letting it sit. So having a completed project and taking something to its end point where you can say fade out and you can close out final draft or final cut, having completed work and having multiple entries of completed work, it just teaches you so much.
I'll pick up on that because I agree with that. But I wanted to say one thing. We were talking to as a guy. He's another filmmaker in the area. His name's Jimmy Jenkins. He's done all that stuff, and he said, "Man, it's your art. No one can tell you how to do your art." So I would tell any young filmmaker out there that even if you've told someone else who's been in this industry, you've done someone else, and they don't like the idea. And it goes back to the thing that Blake said, like believe in yourself and bet on yourself. So if you believe in it, a lot of times when you first start out, you're not going to get a ton of support. And people are not going to just throw money at you and tell you, I love your idea, it's great. They're not. But like Leon said, if it's good or bad, you'll get something out of making it. So I would tell every young person who has any aspiration to do this, it's not too high. Don't be scared of it. Like I didn't go to film school. I'm sure there's a few other people that are on this call today that did not go to film school. If you're really interested and passionate about something, try it. Like you said, put yourself out there, take a bet on yourself, and just do it. And if it's your art and your idea, be passionate about it. Because a lot of times it's that passion that people want to get behind and be a part of. So keep doing your thing. Feel free to reach out to any of us on the panel. We're people too, and we want to do the same thing. So keep doing it. Don't get too high for the highs or too low for the lows, and just keep trucking along.
This was awesome.
Thank you.
I'm really glad that we're able to do this and that we can use this. I think Malachi probably said this, maybe, I'm not sure, but we'd only been open about a month before we had to shut down. So being able to use this virtual platform to connect to even more audiences than we probably wouldn't have done if we just kind of stayed in like our brick and mortar space, I think it's amazing. And for this to be our first installment for our virtual indie film screening, I thought this went swimmingly. And I thank you all for being here, for just being honest and being truthful. And we're excited to see what you guys have coming up in the future. Keep us in contact. For those who are watching, make sure you check out our website for some other future virtual programs that we have in store, including Self-Care Sundays, which is necessary in this time of I don't even know how to define 2020 right now. So many words come to mind. I'm trying not to curse, but just stay tuned with Creative Films, and thank you all for being here. Are we gonna do our final encore presentation?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you all again. Definitely want to get in contact with each and every one of you. Let us know what you're doing. Keep us updated with all your future projects, because our goal is just to support the artist and just provide a platform for you all to show your work and talk about it and share it with the world, because that's what art is meant to do. That's what art is meant to be, share it with the world. So, I guess it's going to take me a second to reshare the screen and do the whole virtual setup. But if anyone has any last thoughts, anyone?
Actually,
I'm sorry, Darren. All I want to say was thank you again for having us. It's been a pleasure to, we shot this film over about 2 years ago, and for it to still getting traction from you guys and being recognized locally is really means a lot to everyone who is behind it. So we really thank you, and hope we can all continue to grow together and put on for the DMV.
Amen.
Yeah, you kind of said what I was about to say, but thank y'all. And are we allowed to give screen names if people want to reach out for anything? Okay. So if you want to reach out to me, you know, if any young artists or any whatever point you are at in your career, if you need some support on where you are and you're trying to navigate, just hit me up on Instagram. It's at IamDVR3N, or just search me on Facebook Darren Joseph Daren, and you know, shoot me a message and we'll chop it up from there.
Yeah, if there are any writers or filmmakers from the DMV that want to ask me questions about LA or just about the industry in general, always feel free to reach out. You can find me on Facebook at Leon Langford, or you can find me on Twitter. I'm always on Twitter at Mason, MASONLLL. That's Mason, 3 L's. Yeah, thank you guys for having us. Really appreciate it. And I think it just goes to show when you have a good product and you have a good film, even 2 years later, you're still talking about it and just not being afraid to go out there and try new things.
Thank you for having us as well. Josh Vincent on Facebook.
Just muted yourself. I don't know how that happened.
And also, go on our website, thepaperboy.com, or on Instagram, it's thepaperboy. See what we're on. Follow us if you can.
All right. Is that everyone?
Yeah, I put my Instagram and email in the YouTube chat, so it should even show up in the comments after the video live stream is over.
Cool. All right, so thank you all once again. This was fun, insightful. Hope everyone enjoyed the first screening, but we'll definitely screen again after this for encore presentation. We still have a handful of people still online, so I'm pretty sure they're just waiting for the second, screening. So let's go ahead and get that started. But thank you all again. We look forward to see you all doing amazing things down the road as we hopefully come out of quarantine very soon and get back to somewhat normal life. And yeah, hopefully we can see what you all are working on in the near future.
Definitely. Thank you guys again.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks, y'all.
I was on some other shit, now I'm back to this. I had my humble pie, now it's time to take a shit. She wants something, only if you insist. Only because I'm lonely and only because I ain't shit. Of course she say she won't, then go on with the list. I want to slit my wrist, I'm horny as a bitch. Her brother and her sister act
Hey, relax. Take your time with this. Wait, what is that?
What are you talking about? It's a tree. It's what you told me to get.
Orange tree, damn it. I was supposed to have an orange tree. That's what I specifically said. God damn it.
So what do you want to do? We're supposed to stop everything look, I couldn't find any orange trees.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm flexible. We're completely ruined. No more surprises, though.
Yeah.
And what is that you were listening to? Turn that shit off.
Turn that shit off. No, man, I'm the one driving. Should we listen to what I like?
You hear those birds chirping? Trees quaking in the wind?
Yeah.
It's all surreal.
I've watched the Blair Witch Project enough times as a kid to build up a natural fear of forests at night.
Yeah, there ain't nothing to worry about out here. Witch is the least of your problems. Besides, it's your time to go. It's your time to go, right?
Hold on. Don't tell me that you actually believe all life is energy and karma bullshit.
Nah, I subscribe to my own philosophy. See, life is just one dark joke. Everything comes around in some ironic fashion. Oh, this old buddy of mine tells a story of this lady in Massachusetts whose fat husband lives a life of poor eating habits and dies while eating pudding, right?
Right.
The police arrive and she screams, "The proof is in the pudding!" She's the only witness, so she's briefly arrested. She tells the judge, the proof is in the pudding. She's freed and she tells her lawyers,
the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah. Turns out years later on the deathbed, she admits to killing her cheating husband by slipping rat poison into his pudding.
Yeah, anyway. So, what happened to the last guy who worked here?
Oh, Miguel?
Yeah.
He didn't make it. And to be frank, he wasn't a good guy. You need organization, good moral compass, and integrity to do this.
So, we're good people?
I don't know about you, but I'm a good guy. Just get a little greedy now and then. You clocked him with something heavy. You want to take a look?
Nope, I'm good.
Good. Never ask questions about the body. We only provide the service of disposing problems. You never ask who they are or where they come from. You clear?
Yeah, got it.
Good. Let's get to work. Yeah, I know it's your first time, but you get better the more you do this.
Yo, do you actually enjoy this job?
Say what?
Like, burying bodies and shit. You actually enjoy this?
I told you life was a dark joke, right? Well, consider me the punchline.
Right.
Got any plans yet for this extra cash?
What was that?
Death spasm.
Yeah, anyway, I got plans. Probably go back to school, try to find a way to make some legit cash.
How noble of you.
What about yourself?
Me? I'm gonna treat myself and throw a little party. I've already got 2 kilos waiting at home with 2 of the finest double D blondes this city has to offer. Ready to do whatever. Thinking about calling a 3rd.
Yo, you kidding, right?
What part of that made you think I was kidding? It's my money. Do what I want. Let's hurry this up. Don't have any time for fear or any of that self-righteous shit.
Crazy. The hell? What is it?
Oh, what is the worst thing to happen when you're burying a body? Finding another body. You're no fun. Oh, it's Miguel.
Wait, Miguel? Like Miguel?
Yeah, I'm sure he had a last name, but yeah, that's him. And only 2 feet deep with no tree? Unorganized bastards.
Yo, who did it?
Some idiots. Now we're behind schedule. We have to dig them out.
Oh, but why would we have to dig them out? Why can't we just bury them on top of each other?
That's rude.
Rude? And burying bodies, is it?
We have rules we abide by here. What kind of operation do you think we're running here?
God, that smells.
Yeah, he definitely avoided his bowels. Try not to, breathe.
Yeah, I got it.
We gotta get him out. We don't have all night.
Oh, wait. Why are we digging him out?
I'm gone for one fucking day. One fucking day. See, this is why they need me.
Can't we just switch spots?
I'm irreplaceable. They must not know about me. They must not know about me.
Yo, did you just quote Beyonce?
Who's that?
You know what? Fuck it. Yo, I gotta get the ass, man.
Shut up and lift, college boy. 1, 2, 3. Good job.
Yo, how the hell did he get out?
Get up. Get up. I said move.
Yo, Tim, I think he's dead. I think he's dead. He's dead, man.
Fuck it.
What are you doing? What are you doing, Tim? Listen,
he's alive.
Listen, he's dead, man. Listen, I'm not doing anything else but burying bodies, man. Don't move, man. You happy? He's dead. And he just avoided his bowels.
Yeah, he avoided his bowels, all right. Come on, get his legs and we'll...
Oh shit.
After him, dumbass!
Wait! Yo, stop.
This is happening. We have to do this.
No, we don't have to do shit. All right? I'm not here to kill anybody. I'm here to bury bodies. That's it. Just let them go.
We have a job to do, And quite frankly, I enjoy my job. Burying bodies relaxes me, makes me appreciate my time on this earth. And sometimes this job calls for a little extra. And when that happens, guess what? Our pockets get fatter. So I really don't want to see me going back to school ass out here.
That's all you about, huh? That's all you about?
Yeah.
You want to kill people just so you can go snort blow with hookers and pretend like you got the fucking moral compass?
I do what I want. College boy, so fucking sanctified. You think you're better than me, huh? You think I'm the bad guy and you're not, right?
No, because I'm here because I have to be. You're here because you're fucking crazy. You're rambling about pudding and more compasses. Like, what the fuck did that story even mean?
Doesn't matter why you're here. All that matters is that you chose this. Same as me. What's it gonna take for you to realize we're on the same level now?
Give me that tree.
Yo, so what do you think happened to the two bitches in the blow?
You think you clever, huh? You looking at me so passionate, let me know that the nigga that you been tapping is actually unimpressive, huh? Oh well, I see what I can do about you, see what I can do about you. You think you clever, huh? You looking at me so passionate, let me know that the nigga that you been tapping is actually unimpressive, huh? Oh well, I I see what I can do about you, see what I can do about you.
Baby, you interesting, and I'm interesting after having long sex. 8 sets of 10, that's a long set. Bend that ass over like a long snap. She ain't say nothing, just supply me with the bone rip. Told me it's a full ass moon, that shit glowing. Little nigga, put your coat on, your Scorpio showing. I never told her my birthday, it's not even the first date. And then I made it.